how to play the King's Indian defense like a Grandmaster. So we got this game, Gregory Katanov against Alexander Danchenko. Gregory is 25-49 and Alexander is 26-45. Let's get straight into this game right quick. All right, the first move was knight f3, d5, and then the move g3 was played. That goes into the King's Indian attack. After the move g3, knight c6, d4, then black played the move bishop f5. After bishop f5, we're just going to continue. Bishop g2, knight b4, but we still got the move knight a3 to cover this weak c2 square. So after knight a3, e6, castle kingside, of course. And then we got the move by black, bishop e7, because they still have to develop pieces, of course. And so white did c3, attacked the knight. The knight went back to c6. Why did the knight even move? I don't know. But hey, maybe Danchenko would have fell for some trick on c2. Who cares? So after the move, knight c6, queen to a4, pitting the knight to the king. Now there's some tactics that's going to go on there. Knight f6, knight e5, attacking this knight twice, and castle kingside. Black not caring that white is going to get a pawn advantage. Why don't Danchenko care? Well, let's go into the position right quick. Gregory took the extra pawn. Knight takes on c6, b takes on c6, and then we got the move queen takes on c6. After queen takes on c6, black was like, okay, I got an extra file. You took my pawn, I get a file, we're all good. After rook to b8, white did the move c4, attacking the center, of course, and then the move queen c8 was played. After queen c8 was played, queen moved back to a4 because Gregory isn't stupid, you know. I took an extra pawn, and I know that my queen can still be attacked and be tempoed on if the queen just stays there on the c6 square. And so after the queen moved back to a4, then Alexander was like, I'm gonna get my rook to b4, I'm gonna attack your queen, and now I'm putting some pressure on the c4 square too. The queen moved all the way back to d1. He's like, hey, it's cool. Take your pawn back. I don't care. I still got a long sniper bishop on the h1 to a8 diagonal. So, hey, you won, I won, we all won. Let's face off. Danchenko was like, I'm not done yet. I want to do the move c5. He was like, okay, I'm just going to keep my pawn. Let's do the move b3. After b3, c takes on d4, bishop b2, attacking the pawn with the queen too, but didn't want to just take the pawn with the queen because white still needs to develop pieces. So after the move, wait a minute, what was that move? After the move bishop b2, e5 was played, then the move c takes on d5. After c takes on d5, bishop h3, attacking that bishop. That bishop was really strong, and now black is trying to take that bishop off the board so that the position is somewhat equal, because now white has a small advantage, like a 0.6 advantage, especially with his knight coming back to the c4 square. After knight c4, Danchenko made a mistake, doing rook d8. This mistake costed him the position like 2.5 points. Maybe trying to stop this pawn from pushing up. But this doesn't stop the pawn because d6 can be played. If bishop takes on d6, knight takes on d6, rook takes on d6, there's still this move, this skewer happening that can, I don't know, rock black's world. So that pawn cannot just be captured. Danchenko brought the bishop back to f8. After that move was played, knight takes on e5 was played, bishop takes on g2 was played, and after bishop takes on g2, king takes on g2, and then Black is trying to do something and did the move rook to b5, attacking the knight. Maybe he will give me the knight. I don't know what would happen. And the move knight f3 was played. Rook moved all the way to h5, rocking white's world, and then Hector was pushed to h4 just in case, because this would have been a little bit unpleasant, but this knight on f3 was there to stop that from happening. h4 is a small precaution. White still has an advantage, especially since he's literally in this position up about, let me see, we got 3 pawns over here, we got 1 pawn. He's up about 2 pawns right now, even though this pawn can be captured. After the move h4, rook takes on d6. White got the final piece into the game, rook to c1, attacking the queen. This queen was quite vulnerable on the c8 square. The queen had to move. The queen moved to d7. There's a lot of squares where the queen can move. And the computer was like, I didn't like that square because it could have moved to other squares that was more popular. But who wouldn't know? We're humans. And his position is already bad anyway. The move queen d3 was played after that. And then after queen d3, knight to d5, and then another pawn. Why not? And not only another pawn, but now we're threatening some type of checkmate on g7. I know this bishop is on fa, but don't let Danchenko move that bishop or that g7 square will be horrible. All right? So after queen takes on d4, rook to g6, trying to get some type of attack on the king side, now the move rook c4 was played. Like, really protecting that h4 pawn for some reason. After the move rook c4, maybe trying to bring that other rook to the game, we don't know. Bishop d6 is played. Danchenko's trying to get some type of attack. This does seem a little bit scary. Both of these rooks is over here, and that rook moved to g6 so that checkmate was impossible. So he's still playing good moves. I do want to ask a question though. If y'all had this winning position for white, would you still be able to convert this into a win? Because grandmasters have this special knack of doing so, especially finding the best moves. Rook d1 was played. What happened was Gregory figured out that black has nothing. All the sacrifices that could happen is pointless. And you can just see it based off his next move, which was h6. h6 was most likely played so that the checkmate won't happen on the 8th rake, or the back rake checkmate won't happen. And so the king has like a little luft on the h7 square. After that, we got the move queen e4, and then the move bishop takes on g3 happening all of a sudden. And now you're scared. You're freaking out. Does Danchenko, a well-known grandmaster, has like, do they have something that you didn't see? What happens after f takes on g3? In which Gregory was like, I'm just gonna do f takes on g3. What happens after that? I'm going back to the position because the computer wanted to lose it, but what happens after f takes on g3? And then Danchenko was like, what are you gonna do after rook to e6? Now that pawn is weak. Now that pawn is weak, and I'm attacking your queen. What are you gonna do, Gregory? Well, Gregory was like, hey, you haven't heard about me. 95. Did you miss this? Did you just give me a piece for no reason? Like, 95 blocks everything. I got this rook looking stupid. This rook doesn't know what they're doing. This knight has no future prospects anywhere, no matter what check it does. And so after knight e5, knight e3 was played, maybe capturing this rook on the d1 square, which is quite nice, smart. Queen takes on e3. Queen takes on d1. Then now I get a check on the 8th rank. Yeah. After that check, king h7. What happens next? Do you know what the best move is in this position? Gregory could have played the move queen e4, which was the best move of the position. And after queen e4, g6 had to be played. And then bishop d4, some weird computer crap. But he saw a normal human move, rook to h8. Sacrifice. After king takes on h8, knight to f7, check, attacking the rook. This rook still looks pointless. King moved to h7. Gregory took this rook. Why not? There's still no checks on this king on g2. And now I have two minor pieces and your king is vulnerable. And this rook is still pointless. Like, what is this rook doing? After the move, queen b1, trying to guard this diagonal, white did the move, queen to g4, and after queen to g4, black resigned. Not only are you threatening checkmate on the g7 square, you're threatening the rook on the h5 square. Black cannot defend both. Even if queen captures on b2, I take your rook. And I'm still defending this pawn on e2, so you have no perpetual checks at all after you take my bishop. So this was a good game by Gregory Khatunov. He played a pretty excellent King's Indian attack. Hopefully you can learn a lot of things from it, and hopefully you learned that, hey, there are pawns that I can take against a 2645 rated chess player. You know what I mean? Look back through this game, figure out how you can incorporate this in your King's Indian attack repertoire.